Hey, what it do with the business is?
It is another week in the books with the On Deck TV show. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown, if you're looking for me on Twitter or Instagram.
Absolutely. And I am Spike Lou on them same social sites. Holla at your boy. Is dwindling down, AB, man. We coming to the last 2 episodes of the year.
Yeah, man.
What say
moving
you? How
fast
this
as
year
fuck,
been?
bro.
Facts, man. This shit flies by when you get old, man. It all clump in. Like after Halloween, it's over. It's all like just one day.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas is really just a weekend.
Just one day. Just wear your Halloween outfit to the Thanksgiving dinner and open your presents, dude. Just knock all of it out once you get this age, man. So you guys know, if you've been rocking with us for a while, we're doing our top 10 favorite albums of the year, man. Next week, you're going to have the On Deck Awards for 2022. And important, it's distinguisher there. Favorite albums, not best or anything of that nature. My favorite, AB's favorite, what we like throughout the year. But before we get into that, some very important news for you in our quick hits. Ab-Soul is set to release another album, his first album in a while, another album for TDE. Have they made up for their absence? Also, Rolling Loud, they're releasing a project based off their success in the festival world. And Styles P, he says that 21 Savage should not be considered a lyricist. We'll dive into that. But first, Irv Gotti is making the rounds. He's doing his promotion, letting you know that he was made $300 million from selling his catalog. And in the midst of that, he lets us know that he considers Cash Money as the #1 record label ever. No qualifiers, no distinguishing. It's Cash Money, hands down. Animal Brown, do you agree with Irv Gotti as Cash Money, the best label ever?
In a word, no. However, I can understand why he would say so. And I'm going to give Irv props because I watched that interview that you're speaking on. He was on Earn Your Leisure, breaking down the deal and some more big money talk shit. If you're interested in hearing that, which you should be, you should check it out. But I'm just glad he didn't say Murder Inc. We know how New York niggas get talking about themselves, talking about what they've done and what he's got a Hall of Fame career. Let's be very clear. If you didn't catch that Murder Inc. BET docuseries, it was fire. And he should be respected as a great CEO and a really dope record label in their own right. I'm glad he didn't say himself. I was surprised that he did, number one. Number two, it's not Cash Money, although the longevity is there with them. Quality-wise, I got to go Rockefeller. They've got too many classics under their belt, bro. Way too many classics. And they have more classic material album-wise than any other label in hip-hop. Cash Money maybe has the longest run, but they don't have the quality of records as Rockefeller does. I got to go with them #1, although Cash Money top 2, at worst top 3.
That's disrespect. You sound like Joe Budden and those niggas from New York. This is easily, yes, Cash Money is the best label ever. Anywhere the South is giving a victory, I'm definitely going to take it. Bias removed, though. Rockefeller Records has never had artists as big as Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Lil Wayne. Yes, they've had Jay-Z, but they haven't had those 3 big boom, boom, boom artists.
Kanye and Cam.
Cameron Giles. We putting him in the same conversation with Drake and Nicki Minaj? No.
Nicki.
Nice try, though. Kanye was decent. Rihanna, I guess, if you're going to throw that in there and cheat and not keep it all the way hip-hop. But I still think that even from a longevity standpoint, that Cash Money would be given the ups over Rockefeller. The music may be better, but I do think if we going from Ha, which is when they hit the national scene, all the way up to, let's say, Drake's last Cash Money album, whatever that was. If you're reading this, it's too late. Let's say that.
Okay.
Ain't nobody done that, bro. Like, ain't nobody giving you the Hot Boys, Nicki Minaj. Ain't nobody done that. And you got BG about to come home. We were just talking about that the other week. They're going to make that a big deal. We ain't even mentioning niggas like Rich Gang and Young Thug when they did their little stint with Cash Money. I think Baby doesn't get enough credit and isn't recognized. And I'm glad that Irv Gotti came out and said this as one of his peers, not just a rapper saying this and not someone that Baby's paying to say this. It's on the payroll. It looks good. People are starting to recognize the significance that Cash Money has. So I'm going to agree with this.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think that Birdman gets the props that he deserves. That's a fact. However, I don't think they're the best record label of all time.
And you go with Rockefeller?
I got to go Rockefeller. Then we can throw Cash Money, and then we can throw Bad Boy. That's probably the three.
The last good Bad Boy artist was who?
French Montana.
That's crazy.
Depending on who you ask.
Nuts. See, that's nuts. But I understand
Dirty Money
them being in the conversation. Who you say Sauce Money?
Dirty Money.
Right. No, I understand it though. Like Puff and the imprint that they made in the early 90s, I get it. And I heard the JBP, they were talking about this as well. And I think just some of the points that the East Coast guys are failing to realize is what we brought up. Like, it was up until maybe 4 years ago that Cash Money, like Baby still trying. That nigga still trying to sign NBA YoungBoy.
He got Blueface.
Like
he got Blueface.
Stop it. If he get NBA YoungBoy and get his claws in him, you can say that's another 5-10 years.
I hope not.
For the younger crowd, for NBA YoungBoy, maybe not for us, but that would make him significant at least another 5 years. It's crazy how he's just been able to continuously keep it going. If nothing else than that, if I wouldn't give him number one, I would give Baby the most resilient, because ain't nobody stuck around as long as that nigga. Like we still today, Baby can like sign an artist.
But listen, a lot of them niggas. I look at it this way. Yes, they may be top heavy with Drake, Nicki, and Wayne. That's a mean three-headed monster.
Yeah.
But look at their bottom though. Where's their floor? Their floor is lower than Rockefeller's, bro. The Turk album, Mac 10 album, Birdman's album.
Don't act like PD Crack doesn't exist though.
Well, he never dropped the album though. So what's the worst Rockefeller album? Maybe name 3 garbage Rockefeller albums, bro.
Didn't the Skino and Sparks drop albums?
No.
Like, are we counting these niggas?
They didn't drop albums.
Them niggas?
They dropped state property projects, which were fire.
The music is good. Now I ain't arguing.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm speaking from a cash register standpoint. This is strictly retail I'm speaking of. Like I would agree with you if we're talking about only music, but if we're talking about music and retail, I would have to go Cash Money. Now, if you saying, hey, Rockefeller has made the best music, period, I would agree with you there.
That's fair.
I'll go with that.
And even though don't sleep on Bad Boy, because they got hip hop and R&B on Smash.
Yes,
Cash Money or Rockefeller ain't got that.
Right, exactly. And you got Mary J. Blige and shit like that. So
you got Total and Faith and like they had hits.
That's cheat code. But let me ask you this,
Thomas.
Let me ask you this. And it's difficult because we're such big Jay-Z fans, but put yourself in the mind of maybe a 20-year-old or something.
Okay.
And you got Baby, Puff. I can't even say Hove because that's cheat code.
Yeah.
Let's throw Hove out of there.
Okay.
If you could sign with Bad Boy in 2022 or Baby and whatever subsidiary of Cash Money was cracking in 2022, which one would you go with?
It's probably, if I'm 20, I'm probably going to say Puff, just because he's outside more than Birdman. He's outside, bro. He's still promoting himself. Bro, where's Birdman at, dude?
That's the problem. He promoting himself.
But I'm saying, but at least you know that if you're going to be standing next to this nigga everywhere he go, that there's going to be cameras and shit popping up. Bro, I ain't seen Birdman in 2 years. Like, I don't know what he looked like no more. He might got hair now. That nigga might got like a little fade now. Dude,
I just seen it with, he was just with, I think, P for his birthday. Like,
he might got dreads. He done grew his hair out like
Jay-Z dreads.
I don't know, dude.
That's funny as hell. I would sign with it. Give me Cash Money. I would go with Cash Money. Just because I would just base it off the experience of Rich Homie Quan, Young Thug, niggas that he ain't been outside himself, but I feel like he's been in the boardroom more recently with music than Puff has.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Puff ain't hitting nothing musically in a minute, not gonna lie.
No, his son is using the studio downstairs.
True.
I may sign with his son before I sign with him.
Hey man, keeping in New York, Styles P was on Math Hoffa's podcast. That has gotten some burn this year. He might be he might be in one of our award categories because that Math
Yeah.
Hoffa been getting looks this year.
Facts. He done had them sound bites out the ass.
Facts. And the discussion came up about 21 Savage talking about the relevancy of Nas, in which Styles P emphatically said 21 Savage should not be considered a lyricist. Drake should have told him this shit. Don't even speak on Nas. Now my question to you is simple. Should 21 Savage be considered a lyricist, or is Styles P right?
I don't even think that 21 Savage considers himself a lyricist. I think this is part of what 21 Savage meant when he was calling Nas irrelevant. When you Styles P and you're his age and you're sitting around defending Nas and you're talking about lyricism and 21 Savage and then doubling down and saying, oh, Drake should have been the one to tell him, as if he's the lyricist of this generation, not taking anything away from him, just saying, I don't think it's that important to him either for him to call 21 Savage out on it. So what I think is coming across here is 21 Savage is kind of right. Like, that stuff that you're talking about as an old head rapper is irrelevant. Now, is Nas irrelevant? No. Is Styles P irrelevant? No, because there is a lane for that contemporary rap that we always talk about on this show. But if you're sitting around with niggas on a podcast and you telling me, oh, 21 Savage ain't a lyricist, duh, nigga. No one ever would consider him. No one would ever say that but a nigga from New York who's trying to diss him or down it. Yes, he was wrong in what he said about Nas, but this is what makes niggas think that niggas Styles' age are washed.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and maybe I missed it, but I watched the clip. I didn't hear anyone calling him a lyricist, and if I may have missed it in all the screaming and yelling and the 20 niggas that was in the barbershop on the episode. So that's possible, but so that'd be my first question. Who said he was a lyricist, number one? So he's not wrong. Let's be clear.
Right.
But I will say the clip is actually pretty entertaining because he was probably the most disrespectful person I've seen.
That's some real Styles P shit, right?
Styles P was talking super loud, super aggressive, but he wasn't shitting on 21 Savage, though. He wasn't. He said, I like 21 Savage. He said, I like him a lot. He said, I don't love his music, but I like his shit, though. Like, I understand what he brings to the game. All of that. Like, he gave him mad props. He was just saying that he shouldn't be considered a lyricist, and therefore speaking on someone who is making different types of music than you really should just leave that alone and let that be, because you kind of speaking out of your league, so to speak, because you're in two different lanes. And that I can respect. He said Kendrick, Cole, Drake, they can speak to that, and they would never say that Nas is. So that's the thing; they would never say that.
Yeah.
So I think that was his point.
Yeah, and that's what, again, using different terminology because they're students of the game, not necessarily because they're lyricists. They may respect Nas' craft a little bit more than 21 Savage.
No, we're not gonna do that because 21 said Nas was dope and he makes good music and he has a fan base. He just said his music wasn't relevant on a commercial tip. Which is, I mean,
and that's fair. I still think that he doesn't respect it, though, because like, I see how Styles is looking at it. Like, a nigga like 21 Savage ain't putting together, even though he did credit him for how he says stuff and what he says. Sure. I still think that he doesn't look at that like what him, Nas, J. Cole, Drake does, which is why he's looking to Drake to say something. However, I don't think that it ain't no place for y'all niggas to say nothing. If he never considers himself in that lane. So, I mean, I guess.
I think we don't give enough credit for people being students of the game, though. You can tell how 21 has stepped this game up, that he cares about that shit, bro.
I think that that's from
ghostwriting,
like today. Like today, though. Like, student of today's game. Like, Drake is popping. Well, let me get in here with Drake and let's him and I work. He ain't listening to old, like, he ain't pulling some game shit and listening to old albums and it's influencing his album. I don't think that. I just don't see a nigga like him listening to rap like that.
I've seen 21 listen to throwback R&B.
Yeah,
singing word for word.
Because his mama was probably listening to that when he was.
Yeah, probably so. She might have been listening to that If I Ruled the World too, though.
That maybe, but yeah, maybe it's possible. It's possible.
You never know.
Yes. Also, what you never know is when TDE is dropping an album.
True.
That segue there. We do know this weekend, Friday to be exact, new episode is coming, set to be released this week. SZA dropped last week. TDE seems to be on a roll. AB, question to you: have they made up for that 2-year absence?
It's tough for me to say without hearing this Absol first,
Mm-hmm.
but the Kendrick was fire.
Got a
Spoiler
Kendrick.
alert, it's in my top 10.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed this SZA too, and people seem to be enjoying it. The internet is saying good things. And Absol is had a little bit of a buzz coming with the album when people thought Hove was gonna be on it.
Hove is not on there, right?
Hove is not in fact, Hove
Wasn't
is
on the
not
track
on the
list.
album. He's not on the track list. Let me say that. Who knows what happens when we hit play on Friday, but he's not featured on the track list. That kind of took a little bit of wind out of the sails. But they did. I saw a clip on Joe Budden where they were listening to the intro, and it actually sounded like it was banging. Though I'm not gonna lie, the intro sounded kind of fire. And I'm not really a big Absol fan. Again, I think he can rap. He just doesn't make the type of music that I'm interested in, generally speaking. His last album came out 6 years ago. We all know he has a very niche fan base that is present. Again, throw him in that Nas lane in terms of not being quote unquote relevant, but having a clear cut fan base, not on legendary status. I'm saying having a fan base, but not being commercially relevant, which you really don't need to in 2022, if we being honest. The album's called Herbert. First album in 6 years. I'm going to check it out, but it's probably, spoiler alert, going to be one and done listen for me if we're basing it off the music that he's put out before. But he can rap though. I just don't be wanting to hear the music he made to be honest.
He is a unique dude, got a unique sound. Is a good artist. I will listen as well. I'm looking forward to it being something different, new. I'm hoping that it's grown from, I wasn't a big fan of the previous sound. I'm hoping that that's matured some, and maybe it's something that I would gravitate to more. But I'm definitely going to pay it a listen, based off of TDE. And with SZA dropping last week, we did get a Kendrick Lamar. I'm cool. I ain't completely satisfied. I would still like some Schoolboy Q, some J-Rock. At least where are they? I didn't even see them featured on this album. Nope. So I would still like to know what's going on with the rest of the crew, the ones who have less niche fan bases, like the Grammy nominated artists that are on the label. I'd love to hear from them. So I would give them like a C as far as stepping it up from an F the previous year. But I am looking forward again to the album. So I'm looking forward to them being consistently rolling stuff out. I'm hoping at the top of the year we get some Schoolboy, we get some Reason, Schoolboy, everyone. I'm hoping they just roll it out, Cash Money, No Limits out at the top of the year, since the wheels are off now. So I look forward to this, and I look forward to what TDE got up next. TDE has up next year. Hopefully they keep it going.
Track list not including Hove or Kendrick for that matter, but they do have Big Sean, Surge, and AI Echo, Joey Badass. Not super sexy, but I mean those are solid artists for sure.
I would be more satisfied if none of those people were on there and it says Schoolboy Q on a song, J-Rock was on a song, Reason was like, that would be more exciting to me.
Yeah. If Hove was on a song, it'd be more exciting.
Or Hove, yes. Or exactly Hove.
He did. I like how he sounded on the LA Leakers, though. He ripped that Biggie instrument. I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I think that he's gonna try something different. I don't think it's gonna be as abstract as we're used to, and I'm hoping that it's more palatable for Fairweather fans like you and I. No, that's asking a lot, but
I'm just glad Isaiah Rashad not on here. That's a win.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, before we get to our favorite albums of the year, Rolling Loud, your favorite festival, arguably the biggest festival popping right now. They've been cooking these last 2-3 years. They are releasing a compilation album. It's around the corner. They just dropped their first single, Ray Shrimmer, featuring Duke Deuce. Okay, a little decent little pairing. Are you here for the Rolling Loud compilation album, or are they doing too much?
I think this is smart as fuck. I can't believe that other Coachellas and whatever it may be has not tried this. I'm sure if this is successful, you will start to see it emulated throughout the industry. But I think this is a good idea, especially if you get somebody to curate the album that knows what they're doing, that's gonna make it sound good, get a good A&R in there. I love this. I think that this is a dope way for them to continue on the brand outside of the festival. People like you and me who ain't trying to pull up to no festival and see that. If they had some dope ass tracks, I would 100% save them to my playlist. So I think this is dope, and I look forward to other people trying it.
Yeah, if they own the music, this is a great idea
Yes.
because then
Even if
you can
they lease it,
license it
right?
out
Yeah.
to. I mean, the same way you license all songs to movies,
Right.
commercials, all of that. If you own the joints, so this way, and if it's written in the contract for people that perform, you got to lay a 16 down for this album.
Yes. And
Let
it's
me get
mine.
that. That's
Like
a
you said,
win.
and I own it.
That's a win. They're known for curating the large festivals with a gang of artists on multiple stages. So we're seeing if they can do the same with an album. The executive producers are the same two people that came up with the festival. So was that's a good or bad thing? I don't know, but we can expect to see more collaborations between artists that maybe haven't collabed before. Like I don't think Ray Shrimmer has done a song with Duke Deuce before. This may be the first.
Highly doubt it.
Yeah, I highly doubt it too. So I'm interested to see, and the song was cool too. I wasn't mad at it. I'm interested to see what combinations they come up with. So, hey man, Khaled 13, 14 albums in, man. So somebody else was like, man, fuck this. Let me see if I can do this shit too.
Right.
I
Exactly.
ain't mad at it. So it's very smart, especially if they own it.
Fact.
That's clutch.
I agree with you 100%. I look forward to hearing it, actually. That should be dope.
No release date as of yet, though. We'll keep y'all posted.
It's that time.
Yes, sir.
It is that time of the year, topic time, album of the year time, favorite albums of the year. Very important qualifier.
Yes.
AB, did you have a hard time putting this list together?
The bottom three was tough and this is usually my what's tough for me. The first half of the top 10, I usually already know kind of what it's gonna look like. Maybe just gotta solidify the order. But then the bottom, maybe third, is kind of tough because there's some honorable mentions I could easily rotate out of that 10, 9, or 8 spot. So it's just really locking them last three or four. That'd be rough for me. But I think I got a solid list though.
Same here. I didn't. It snuck up on me, to be honest with you. Same thing as far as the first 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Early on, I knew what they would be. As I got to doing my writing and researching and I was starting writing, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this.
Exactly.
I forgot about this one. So I do know some of the ones that I rated pretty high on our review shows may not make it just because stuff has grown on me differently since then.
Facts.
So I know people will fact check and be like, well, you gave this many mics and this many reels and this many reels, but it ain't on your list. Shit changed.
It happens.
Shit changed.
Facts. Some things don't age as well. Some things age better. It just kind of
double back to some shit. You're like, oh man, I missed this the first time.
In fact, I definitely did that on a couple of these joints.
So with this being said, AB, do you want to share your last 3, your 10, 9, 8 albums of the year?
Absolutely, man. Number 10, drum roll, please. We're taking it to the West Coast. We're going West Side Boogie, more Black superheroes. I really enjoyed this project. I'm a fan of West Side Boogie. I thought his previous joint was slept on. He's kind of the diamond in the rough that is on Shady Records that nobody talks about. I don't know what M is doing over there in terms of running a record label. But I really enjoyed the themes of this album. It came out in a good year because it was very similar to Kendrick's project, which I told you, teaser alert. We're going to get to that shortly. But it was on some grown man shit from somebody who's not old and washed. West Side Boogie, I haven't looked at his age, but I know he's got to be under 35. To be talking the stuff that he's on here talking about, I think he said he ended up going to therapy in between records and scrapped what he had originally and switched it up. And also he's got arguably interview of the year on Breakfast Club for me, one of my favorites at least. So more Black superheroes, man. It was fire.
For an artist, it can't be better than that Umar
that Umar was hilarious. Umar gave me everything I needed on there. That was a good ass interview.
He was in there cooking.
Yeah, he was getting busy. Number 9 was a very unlikely source. I didn't listen to this when it came out, but I doubled back and tripled back and then quadrupled back after I listened. Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. Banging. And this young dude has had potential for a couple of years now, but his albums never really connected with me like that. I wasn't feeling him at all up until this point. But this is the one that got him on the freshman class cover a few years ago. This is the one that people have been waiting on to hear from him, including myself. It's banging, though. Shout out to Florida. My guy Derb, I know he's checking us out. Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. It's fire. Number 8, King's Disease 3, Nas. Aging gracefully in this rap game. all him, no features, 55 years old, new hair, like he's in his bag on here. Hit Boy, they should have met 20 years ago. They got more of these in their bag, I'm sure. They haven't missed yet. All three King's Diseases were dope, and Magic was fire as well. So I go KD3, the very relevant to me, Nas, and Hit Boy. They got another one.
That's strong. That's a strong 3 right there.
Back
And
so.
it just shows to the amount of music that came out that was quality. You really can find anything because
And I feel like we said that too when Nikki was on here.
Mhm.
I feel like we talked about the possibility of how hard or difficult our top tens will be, and I was like, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all gonna look back at some shit and be like, nah, that was some shit.
That's a fact. Even with you naming some of that, I was like, oh shit, I I don't have anywhere to put that.
Yeah.
So for 10, 9, and 8 for me, my 10 is gonna start with I had to have him on the list. I enjoyed this album. It's with Drama. 2 of Drama's albums made it on my list this year. Shout out to you calling that, though you were 3 years early. You did call it. It said Jeezy. That Jeezy Snowfall is number 10 for me.
Yeah, it's banging.
I just enjoyed it. Jeezy was back in his bag. He didn't try to be a preacher or war advocate. Like he wasn't in a different lane from what I expected old Jeezy to be in. And it was great to hear it. The BMF documentary was out. It just all felt right. He was back with Drama. So shout out to that Snowfall. Number 9 for me is right in that same vein. I spoke about this album, and the reason that it's so low for me is because it came out so late. And if it had came out earlier and I had gotten to grow with it, sit with it some, I probably would have it higher. And that's that Finesse 2 times 90 Days. That one was dope, man. I know that this is early for him and he's still probably working on a debut project, but this being a introduction project, like the old mixtape type vibe, I think it's impactful. I think he has a lot to say and different way to say it. Reminiscent of Jeezy for me, like a 2.0, not as impactful, but down the same lane. Could definitely see that influence in him. So I enjoyed that 90 Days.
For sure.
And number 8 for me shows that this was a tough year to crack that top 10. And again, these are favorites. Is that Drake and 21, Her Loss. I enjoyed the shit out of that album. Tailed off a little bit as I got to double back to it. I don't know if people were just playing it too much and I just got tired of it, which is why I ranked a little lower for me, but I definitely did enjoy it. I liked albums where people tried stuff, had fun, did different things. Clearly on this album, you could tell that 21 and Drake were having fun. I enjoyed that Her Loss. It made me smile a couple of times throughout, even the memes with people making fun of it and even how they responded to it, the rollout. All of that stuff was dope. So that's my 10, 9, 8.
I still got to listen to that Finesse. I do like his style, but I haven't got around to it. And I got Jeezy's not on mine, but it was a dope project. It's good to see him bounce back, especially after them last like 2 or 3 projects. And it was like, bro, he smoked. He got nigga the life brought back into him by Drama. So
Drama did CPR, nigga.
Woo. You gotta give Drama 100%. That, man. That's why I told I had him my person of the year, man. Like he brought him back to life.
Yeah, facts. That's 100%.
765. Is that what we want to do it or 7?
Yes, sir. 765.
Okay. Number 7, I'm going JID, The Forever Story. It took me a while to get to this. I'm not gonna lie. I listened to it the first time when it came out. I wasn't prepared to go that deep of a because you have to pay attention to this one. At least the first like 2 listens. I gotta actually be listening to what this nigga is talking about and what he's doing. He's a very talented artist. I feel like this project was strong, and it took me about 2 months to go back to it. I told myself I was gonna check for it on a flight. I didn't get to do it. I was gonna check on it on the flight back. Didn't do it. Finally got around to it. I'm glad I did. It is a very strong project. There are plenty of joints on there worth revisiting. Again, dude is very talented as a storyteller. He could, if anything, I would nitpick. He could be a little bit clearer with the storytelling. Sometimes he could, with his style and the way he raps, some of the things he's saying can go over my head just a little bit. Makes me have to listen a little bit harder. But definitely a strong project. Probably one of the strongest out of Dreamville, not named Cole. Actually, not probably, easily the strongest out of Dreamville, not named J. Cole, in terms of a full body of work. Number 6, Vince Staples, Ramona Park Broke My Heart. Vince has been on a roll lately. The EP last year was strong as fuck. This one, complete flames. I feel like the music is finally catching up to him as a personality. He's already a strong personality, but he didn't have the music to match. For me, that has taken a turn for the better with these last 2 projects. I can't wait to hear what he got next. I'm hoping he doesn't just go full TV, which I anticipate happening sooner than later. But that's a very strong project. And then probably be my sleeper that I did not see coming, number 5, Joey Badass 2000. Like, man, that I listened to that album front, back, front, and then hit the shuffle, and it hit just as good on shuffle. Like, it's a feel good New York. I'm picturing this is what the Bronx looked like in summertime when all of your niggas is good. I compared this to the Vince Staples album before when we talked about it. I said it reminded me of Vince Staples' album, just a New York version, and him not having to free the homies. Vince Staples, he got homies still locked up that he's on a mission trying to get out so he can have fun and kick it with them and they can explore life. Joey Badass is with his homies that are free and they're on the East Coast enjoying life and the fruits of their labor and success. It's a fire album. Again, I can hit that on shuffle. It works just as well as it does from front to back. So that shocked me. I wasn't prepared to like it as much as I did.
Here's the amazing thing about the list this year is this, 765 for me, totally different from what you named. However, as you name those albums, I was like, yeah, I remember listening to that, and that's banging. And I could easily have it on my list. Since we've started doing this podcast, I think it's very interesting, these lists. I think it's very interesting to look back at how at first they were more like we would have most of the same shit. Yeah. Now it's like there's so much stuff out there for you to gravitate to, and it just really depends on what you in the mood for and what you like the most. So I think that's dope. Because with that being said, my next ones are completely different from yours. I went from Midwest to West Coast on these 3. At number 7, this is pretty new too, man, but I just liked it so much. And you were speaking of drama, like I'll put this in. People that listen to this show know how I feel about Detroit. I listened to this Icewear, Vezo, and Drama and Paint the City, and I was floored. I couldn't believe that it sounded as good. Had I been able to sit with this one a little bit longer, I probably would have had this much higher. No, I'm a big fan of the Detroit sound, but man, this was fucking banging to me.
It is.
They did that remake of the Wayne song, the Fuck You.
Yeah.
Nah, man, come on.
Yeah, Kodak ripped that too.
Number 6 for me, completely have forgotten about this one and how much that we raved about it shows to, again, the depth of this year. I'm going to continue to say that throughout these lists, but it's The Game at Drillmatic. Like, that shit was banging. I went back, listened to that, like, oh, God damn, I almost forgot about it. Like, it wasn't even going to make my list, but it made it up here to number 6. I had almost forgotten about it there. Shout out to Game, still putting it down this late. Previous generation, him and Jeezy holding it down on the list. And number 5 for me was similar to you. I can listen to this album front, back, shuffle. It doesn't matter. This dude is just, this is the type of music that I love at this age in my life and like to listen to. And that's at Larry June, Spaceships on the Blade. That shit was fucking fire.
Absolutely.
I could listen to that on repeat and just let the songs play again once it ends, or like I said, put it on shuffle. Larry June is easily becoming one of my favorite artists. I like the style, the flow, the tempo that he comes with. It's his own specific style, and he nails it. That Spaceships on the Blade is number 5 for me. Loved it.
Yeah, that's one of my honorable mentions. Larry June last like 2 or 3 been very strong. Orange Print. Yes. This one, they've been very, very tough. And then I also like that Icewear Vezo. I saw an episode of him, you know, when Care Civil will go to like your neighborhood or whatever. It's like Civil Neighborhood, some shit, or In My Neighborhood, whatever. Yeah. I saw an episode with him a couple of months ago, And I was like, man, you know what? I had never listened to his music. I was like, man, but I like what he was talking on there though. I was like, man, next time he come out with some, when you don't like it enough to go check it out right then,
Right
but you
then,
like
but he's like, if I see it again, I got it.
next time he come out with some, I'm gonna check for that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did when he came out this weekend, and that shit was tough. I like that. That's a really good
Facts.
project. I was actually surprised at that.
That's outside music. I felt
Yeah,
like
for
I was
sure.
in Detroit. If I was outside and still like that, that's definitely the music. That's the soundtrack for the day to day.
Drama picking the right people to link up with, and
Facts.
the game when you mentioned that some things were rated higher when we did it, and they may not be the same when we get to this top 10. The game falls in that category for me.
Mm.
It's still in my top like 20. It's just not where I had it originally,
When we
but
first
I
heard
still
it.
think it's a good body of work though.
I think when we first heard it, for me anyway, we were so surprised that it was still as good as it was, and
For sure.
bam. So yeah. All right. What
Ooh,
we doing? 5-4. Oh,
4.
excuse me. 4-3-2, and then 1, or you want to do all of them together? What say you?
Let's go 4-3, and then we'll do 2-1.
Okay, 4-3.
I'm going 4. My boy Gangsta Gibbs, Soul separately. I feel like the delay hurt him. His buzz had kind of quieted down a little bit. He had been caught up in news that wasn't favorable to him and his character. Getting into various
rapper getting beat up, man.
Yeah, that's never good for your image. And so he had to force the album back. And I think it hurt in terms of impact. But the material is very strong. And it's like a concept album. It's him at a hotel working on his album with the voicemails and the gambling themes. And the production is ridiculous. Like I said before, when we reviewed it, I thought it was a good mix of traditional hook, verse songs, and then balance that with just straight bars with maybe a beat flip in the middle. I thought he had a nice half and half balance of that. So that gave it replay value. And then he dropped the deluxe edition with the 4 extra songs. I thought those hit too. So Gibbs, my guy, he teased it his album of the year. Not quite, but I do think it was very, very strong. And then number 3, my boy Aubrey, man, he bounced back. And I'm gonna keep it a stack. He needed
seriously,
this.
never mind.
No. Yeah, that's what I said. Honestly, never mind number 3, guys. Nah. Drake, 21 Savage, her loss. I think Drake needed this. And also, to be honest, I think 21 Savage needed this too. This gave Drake a reason to talk greasy, a little bit of street cred for whatever that's worth. And it also gave 21 Savage a cosign, and you had to put a little bit more respect on his name for his lyricism, air quote, because he was able to hold his own with Drake and not just get demolished on every song. He was entertaining. He brought, I feel like it highlighted his strengths as being an entertaining rapper in that lane that he's in with the street shit. And I thought the chemistry between him and Drake worked very well. It's bangers on this album, bro. If you're looking for bangers, they're present on this album, dude. If your 2023 goal or resolution is to get in the gym and lose some weight, nigga, put this album, go get your LA Fitness membership,
$10 a month,
good headphones, and press play on this album, dude. You have a 6-pack by the summer. It is chock full of bangers. I wish it would have came out a little bit earlier in the year, because this probably would have been good outside music when it was 80 degrees outside, windows down type shit. But it's a strong project, and Drake needed this. I'll be the first to tell you. Certified Lover Boy was okay. Honestly, Nevermind was forgettable. So he needed this in the worst way, and he came through.
Yeah, you couldn't go for those last 3. Again, I did enjoy that album. And to the Freddie Gibbs point, you're right. Being outside and most of the headlines be you in a fight and losing them when you're a gangster rapper, it's not good for business.
Absolutely
I think that made a lot of people kind of discredit the album. And they shouldn't have, though, because it was banging. Not my guy, not my style, though, so it's not on my list. 4-3.
Yep.
This is going to be sort of a reach. However, I really, really enjoyed it, and I wanted to give credit where credit I felt like was due, because he tried something new. And I had spoken this year about how rap was kind of like the dunk contest, as far as, people not trying new shit, just going with the same old formula. And again, paying homage to Detroit, that I love their music and city. Man, it's T Grizzly, man. Chapters of the Trenches. Like, it was a concept album. He told a different story, some of them ran together. So I mean, it wasn't like 8 different stories. Some of the stories were like 2 songs, but it was just like 5, 6 different stories, and it was dope. He had visuals for each story. It made sense. It wasn't him trying too hard. It wasn't about spinning the block or popping perks or his ops or any of that. Like none of that shit was really mentioned outside of it being in the story. And I felt like that was dope from a dude his age being in the game in the era that he came up in. He could easily go do what everyone else is doing, but he's showing depth. He's showing that he could, possibly do stuff outside of music with his storytelling. I just really enjoyed it. And if I'm the only person putting him on a top 10 list, I want to be that to show him what he did in that project was really dope. I really enjoyed that T Grizzly, man. So if you guys haven't heard that, go check it out. Go check out the visuals for him. They are dope. Chapters from the trenches, excuse me. And my next one, man, I was waiting on this a long time, and I wasn't disappointed at all. The other 2 albums just were better to me. I enjoyed them more, but not taking anything away from this Mr. Morale. Kendrick Lamar is number 3 for me in the Big Steppers. This album's fire. Continuing what Kendrick Lamar streak in his albums as far as just being going above and beyond of what you're expecting and listening to. This shit is dope. I learned listening to something new every time that I listen to it, as far as picking up on something. The therapy you talked about with West Side Boogie, really prevalent in this. And it just speaks to our age, where we are in life. 2 guys that do this podcast. I just enjoyed him being an adult and listening to an adult rap about adult shit that you usually don't get that's in popular music. You might have Lil Brother or somebody like that rapping about it, but one of the best rappers in the world on this like type of time, that meant a lot to me, and it was really dope. So number 3 for me, Mr. Morale, Kendrick Lamar, Big Steppers.
Yeah, I still got to get into that T Grizzly, and I fuck with T Grizzly too, and I respect that I know he has done songs that are around stories before. He's got like a whole series or like a robbery series that he's done on several tapes. But to take it to the next level and to do a whole joint like that, I like that. And he's in a good space because he's not forced to have to make a hit. He's getting money off the fucking Grand Theft Auto shit, bro. So when you're in a space, wait till
you listen to that, because you're a fan of like the creativity and stuff. Like I cannot wait till you finally listen to that. That shit, I was floored listening to that.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm glad that he's in a good creative space where he doesn't have to make a radio record. He can do whatever he wants to, and then let you, even if it is a concept project, bro, with all stories. That's cold. And of course, the Kendrick go without saying. I'm about to get to that in just a second. Don't you worry about a thing.
So clearly, Kendrick is in your top 2.
It is. It is definitely my top two.
You got
number 2. It's not number 2 though.
Pusha T.
Number 2 is Pusha T. It's Almost Dry.
Okay, we both have the same number 2 then. Spoiler alert.
Listen.
So you can go and I'll go when we talk about the 2.
First, it was teased as all Kanye production. Then it was, we're going to go all Pharrell production. First of all, right then and there, nigga, I'm stuck. I don't know which way I want you to go. Like, nigga, if you'd ask me, nigga, I don't know. And you know what he ended up doing? Getting the best of both worlds. 6 and 6. That's probably the smartest thing. This album is ridiculous. Pusha T, of course, you have the naysayers that say he doesn't switch it up, blah, 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 blah. I don't want him to switch it up necessarily if it's going to sound like this. You can keep this right where it's at, dude. He's getting better with age. You put a question in the chat if anyone had a perfect discography. And I said that the closest would be Pusha T because he's got 4 records. But I went back and listened to the first 2. My name is fire. The King Push, the second one is just okay.
Is that the one with the barcode?
My name has the barcode. King Push, the second one is, again, it's okay. But the 3rd and 4th, like this, and then the Daytona are on a completely different level for them first 2. So to see where he has kind of come from in terms of like just an artist standpoint, making music, does he have a major cheat code of all cheat codes with 2 of the greatest producers of all time in his Rolodex? Yes, but we know that's not the end all be all. You can still fuck that up. He didn't. That album is ridiculous. It's basically like Daytona if Daytona had more records. You know what I'm saying? It's fired to me.
Real high level rapping, man. These last 2 albums, like you said, this shit is just, like you said, the cheat code of having Kanye West and Pharrell, but who better to have it? Like a nigga that takes this shit as seriously as he does.
Yep.
A lot of the motivation for me for this, other than the music, was I went to the Pusha T concert, caught COVID from that shit too. I was down. However, it was worth it because I got to see a master at work, for lack of a better, like that nigga, he was fucking what do they call it? Surgical. He was surgical when he came out and did that motherfucker. It wasn't no in between talking. It wasn't no, hey, how you doing with the crowd? I'm coming with the hits. My voice is good. Like I ain't out of breath. I'm bodying this shit. And I just got to hear it in person and how into it that he was and how serious that he took this shit as he went through all of his hits and left and came back and left and came back. I told the story on the podcast. It made me understand, like you said, especially in these last two albums, like he has just been rapping his ass off, man. Like it's really different for niggas is paying attention to this that know like he's doing it. He's definitely doing it. So that's my number 2 as well.
Couldn't agree 100%. So spoiler alert, not really. My number 1 is Kendrick, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting. We were probably supposed to get this during COVID year 2020. Didn't get it last year. We looking around like, dude, did this nigga retire? There was rumors it was going to be a rock and roll theme project. Finally, we get the announcement of the title. We don't know what to expect. We get the video with him switching the faces to Kendrick. To different faces like Kanye and Nipsey. And we like, oh, shit. This is what we finna get. I think that was the Heart Part 5, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people sleep on that. That shit was incredible. I remember when that first hit, nigga, group chat was on 10. Like, nigga, crazy, this shit's stupid. Yeah. The album, in my opinion, matched that. Bro, like, dude, now you want to talk about a perfect discography? I know I give the Pimp a Butterfly shit, but I understand its impact in the culture, and I'm really in the minority in terms of how I feel about it. His discography is all top tier shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's all top tier shit. Facts. Not including the unmastered, whatever the fuck that was, not even including that. His just straight albums are ridiculous. They're all peak rapping at its finest, production, bars, music, the whole nine. This is no different. This was a classic when I heard it. No lie. I listened to it, I like, oh, it's a classic, bro. I'm not gonna hold nobody. This shit is ridiculous. It met the expectations. It met the hype. It was a double album. Like, throw away the bullshit song about him and Gal arguing. And man,
even that though, like I never listened to that again. Like the impact, I still remember it. Like the impact
that's true.
Of it. Like
that's true. So. But I thought the album was incredible. Obviously, it's my number 1 joint. I'm not surprised if you would have told me before this year started that Kendrick album is finally going to come out and you're probably going to have a number 1. I wouldn't have argued that. Right. I would have actually expected it, and he delivered. So I got to give it to him, man. And Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers delivered.
Yeah, that discography that's high level
crazy.
Shit right there. Yeah, that's caviar right there. Facts. Like it ain't too many niggas that can be like checking these 4 albums out and they like that. Number 1 for me, Vince Staples, Ramona Park broke my heart. Second year, I think this is the second year in a row. Vince Staples says, hey, whenever that Vince Staples came out, it was number 1 that year too for me. We spoke about endlessly on here the personality that Vince Staples is and how much that we like that pause. But the music catching up to it was something that I didn't even think that I needed. But when I got it, I was fucking here for it. This shit reminds me of when I was growing up. Not in the sense of just like old music or rapper in the sense, but just like him with his friends and his homeboys, the nights out that he's talking about, things that are happening, just even how it sounds, like the ambiance of the album, just it's nostalgia for me. So that's why even the Vince Staples project and this project, I ranked them so high because it's like he found he's like the perfect voice for that, for people that age, from a certain era and age. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's not doing too much either. It's still storytelling to it. There's still music to it. However, it's still giving you some insight into how he grew up and how a generation of us grew up. And that shit, it just hits every time that I listen to it. every time that I've listened to it, it hits the same for me. So that's why I have it as my number one album. And it's even better than the Vince Staples album, the Vince album, which I really, really like. But one of the biggest things, again, like I said, every time that I listen to this, it feels the same. And that's really big pause as far as just taking in the music. Like I can't speak enough to how much that I enjoyed this album. I knew that this was going to be my number one probably in whenever this came out, like within a month or two of that.
Yeah.
I knew I was like, I ain't gonna hear nothing better than this. Even though that Kendrick got really close.
For sure.
This was just more nostalgia for me.
I think the Vince Staples, the self-titled album that came out last year was definitely fire. It was only like
that was my number one too. Yeah,
10 songs. It was like an EP damn near. So this one is just an EP. I mean, this one is that on steroids.
Yes.
It's a very, very strong project. I love the bag that he's in too.
Yes.
Yeah, he in that bag when it comes to this shit, bro.
Vince might be my guy. Couple honorable mentions.
Yeah, go for it. Let's get it.
Lotto 777.
That was a good. When I double back, it was better than I.
Yeah, she was doing some high level rapping on there, so I want to give her credit.
Not gonna lie,
100%. Yo Gotti, CMT, that free game, definitely. Future, I never liked you.
Yeah,
I purposely didn't rank that just in case MX is listening, so it was just have him in
piss him off
all day. Yes, absolutely. Mozzie, Survivor's Guilt.
Okay.
And lastly, Boldy James, Fair Exchange, No Robberies.
That's a good one too. I'm going. I got Benny the Butcher, Tana Talk 4. That's a very strong project. I was my expectations were a little too high for it when I first listened to it. I had to clear my mind and go back. I was like, oh, okay, nah, this shit fire. And then another one from Griselda was a Conway, God Don't Make Mistakes. Yeah. That is also very fucking strong. He's got a song called Stressed on there with Wallow at the end, complete flames. And then one I can't believe I'm about to say, but so if M Extra is listening, he's going to respect this. Man, that Gunna, man, DS4. I ain't gonna. I swear I didn't want to. He was beefing with Freddie Gibbs. M Extra waving the damn ATL flag every day, every hour on the hour in the chat. I did not want to get his album props. It's banging though. I can't even front. Like I wanted to hate on it and everything.
Free Gunna, man.
It's banging though, man. I give it to him. Like there's plenty of joints on there. I ended up circling back to rocking with. So y'all let us know what y'all fuck with though, man. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, drop your top 10s on the YouTube, drop them on the Instagrams, drop them in the feeds, wherever you feel most comfortable. Let us know what you think. Join in the conversation with the On Deck TV show, man. We got some wins or some losses, A, B, and we will start with Gucci Mane, the aforementioned. Well, we ain't mentioned him in top 10 albums, but Gucci Mane in the 1017 squad dropped a new album, and it was 80 tracks. Animal Brown. Is that a win or a loss?
Man, that's a loss, dude. There's
4 hours long.
There's no one on God's green earth that asked for 80 records from anybody, bro. Like and I know it's not just him. It's more of a compilation. It's the So Icy. I believe it's called like The Ending or something.
Who knows?
Bro, he emptied the hard drive and just threw it all on Apple Music, bro. 80 songs. I would have checked for it if it was 12, bro. 80, I'm never going to hear either one of them now, bro. Like it's over for that.
It's a win because people are talking about it. I've seen this mentioned more than any other 1017 project that has been released recently. Fair. So people have been speaking on it. Again, you like me, I will never listen to this.
Never.
They find one that makes it to the radio, I'll hear it then or something like that. But nah, I'm super good off a 4-hour 1017 project.
Facts.
Your man Russ, in a win or a loss, turned down $50 million for his catalog. AB, win or a loss for Russ?
Hey, that's a win, man. Like Russ bought his business, dude. He's been on that independent tip for a minute now. He bet on himself and won. If he would have cashed out for them 50, it would have been a W. You cash out for the 50 is a win. You hold out because you know you're worth more than that. It's a win. This is neither it's a win-win situation for him. Salute to him, man. The independent game working for him.
This is a big W. Agreed. Russ knows something that most people don't. Listening to him, he's very articulate in his craft, in his
Yeah.
industry. He knows what he's doing. So if he turning down 50 million, I have to believe that there's a much bigger bag at some point down the road, just based off his business acumen alone. So yeah, this is a big W.
You got to think about it. Irv got 100 for look all the work he put in.
Yeah.
That's 20 years worth of shit.
Right. Russ can be looking at that like I ain't nowhere near done, nigga. That's like I ain't even hit my stride yet, nigga.
Yep.
It's just, yeah. So, but shout out to Russ, man. Last win or loss, Ice Cube said he turned down 2 versus matchups, one against LL Cool J and one against Scarface. Is that a win or a loss, AB?
That's an L, man.
Big boy L.
Super. 2 L's, nigga. He got the rare dub.
Double L, nigga. LL, nigga.
Facts. What are you doing? I would have rather seen the LL probably. I think he's due for one. Because I think it put a lot of respect on LL name and Ice Cube name for that matter. And I would have
it. Yeah,
I would have mind getting a history lesson, bro. I would have watched that.
Facts. Them niggas could have went up there and talked. And what I don't think that Ice Cube understands, taking it to political places for a moment, this is the thing that's gonna help you as well. Like, you being standoffish and the angry black man ain't getting you no more interviews than it was getting you prior to. So you might as well look like you having fun, my nigga. Like, it's been just too buttoned up for him as of late, man. He ain't like, and I know he a serious dude, but like everywhere I seen him, his niggas just had that grimace on his face. Like, Joe Biden ain't taking my interview. Like, bro, relax, nigga.
Yeah, you gotta. He not a boy in the hood no more. He can relax the frown.
Yeah, like, bro, this nigga arguing with Interscope, he arguing with the people that got Friday. Like, bro, like, relax, my nigga. Shit. Nigga got you multi-hundred millionaire, my nigga. Act like it. God damn. Do a versus, nigga. Smile, motherfucker. Jesus, man. You would think shit ain't all good for Ice Cube. God. Yeah, I would have loved to see the LL versus, though. That would have been fire.
That would have been dope.
I want to see LL in the versus.
Allegedly, they coming back next year, new season, or they took a break in between seasons.
I hope so, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
I hope so. I hope that happens. Who's the on-decker of the week?
On deck of the week, man, we're going to iTunes. We missed this comment. Shout out to Rap Geek. It was titled Combat Jack Would Be Proud. The only hip-hop podcast I listen to regularly since Combat passed. AB and Spike Lee have great chemistry and offer great hip-hop debates and laughs each episode. Keep up the great work. 5 stars. Appreciate that, Rap Geek.
That's a very good compliment, man. Thank you for that. We appreciate that.
Combat is the reason why we do this to begin with.
Facts, 100%. So that means a lot, that compliment, 100%. Facts. What you putting us on this week?
I'm going to go TV. I'm going to go movies, man. Avatar come out now. Oh, I'm going to go...
Sean Walsh is going to have a ball with that.
In case y'all didn't know, man, Avatar comes out. No, I'm going to go TV. FX on Hulu. Fleischman's in Trouble.
Ooh.
Got my guy from Social Network. I don't know his name. He's just a guy from Social Network.
Yeah, you know who he is, though.
He played that awkward white dude role to a T. He really don't need to play no other role.
Just him.
Just play that right there.
Every time. Just give me the awkward white dude with whatever story he's telling, dead body. Every time.
Put whatever story, put him on in another city, in another country, whatever. Just run with that. But it's pretty entertaining, man. If you've seen Love Life on HBO, I liken it to that. But I'm rocking with it, and I'm interested to see how it unfolds, man. So shout out to Fleischman's in Trouble. I'm checking that out. What you got?
Facts. That's a very interesting story, just the perspective that they tell him. The dad, the mom ran off. You never really see that. So, and he's doing a really good job. Yeah, that is a dope put on. I'm going to double back to this one because it finally released, and I've gotten to dive into it, and that's that Fat Joe book. I can't think of the name.
The Book of Jose?
The Book of Jose. I started it Saturday, and it's okay.
Okay.
But I'm listening on Audible, and Fat Joe is reading it. And it sounds like Fat Joe is reading it. And I'm struggling through
Fat Joe can tell a good story, though. Like, is he putting the gas on?
That's the problem. I'm glad you said that. Because he can tell a good story when he's off the dome and he being Fat Joe. But it sounds like Fat Joe is reading it. It's like he wrote it, now he's reading it, and he's like trying not to be Fat Joe. He's trying to make sure that he reads it and articulates it well. So it's taking some getting used to. Maybe he gets more comfortable in it a little later, but just right now, I'm having a hard time just listening to Fat Joe read He needs to add the personality to it. But it is entertaining. He's getting just to how he got to Fat Joe. I've listened to the first couple of chapters, so it's out there. If y'all are fans of Fat Joe and his story, check that out.
Yeah, definitely let me know how that turned out. I want to know what's in there. I know. I'm
If
wondering
you
how
read
in depth he going.
Yeah, no, he ain't going in depth at all. I was
I
kind of
think
hard
so.
about that too. Yeah, he like that whole the Terror Squad shit. He super glossed over all of that, nigga.
I don't
That
want to hear
nigga
it.
gave some real fairy tale stories about like man, it was some niggas. He was telling the story about spoilers, niggas that used to beat him up or something, and magically a couple of years later, I got 100 niggas with me, and these niggas was on the lower end. I was like, well, how did you get the 100 niggas with you? Never went into how he got his crew and how he established himself as Joey Crack. But nigga, he said the nickname Joey Crack came from his butt crack showing as a child in class.
That's
he
cap.
capped. So
Joey,
it's still stuff that he's trying to avoid 100%.
right, and that's why
I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
Yeah. We need the unauthorized Fat Joe vibe.
Yes, we need to listen the version the feds won't listen to, so we can hear it. But yes, man, this has been the On Deck TV show, our favorite albums of the year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those albums. Only one more episode before the end of the year, and it's the annual On Deck TV show awards, man. We may throw the list out there, let you guys maybe get some voting in or something on the categories. Check out the IGs and Twitters, maybe see what we do with that. But next week is the traditional On Deck TV awards, last show of the year. AB, take us out.
Yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody tapping in. Leave those top 10s in the comments, IG and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe while you're there, man. We appreciate it. See y'all next week. Cheers.